Hello, good morning everyone. I am myself K. Narsimurthy. Presently I am working as an assistant professor in Government First Grade Women's College, Tumkur. The subject which I am teaching is physics, and this is my 58th video for second semester students of Tumkur University. I have been presented 57 videos and I have covered almost 95% of entire syllabus of second semester in my 57 videos, and this is the 58th video which I am presenting today. So here I have started a new chapter in a last unit. In the fourth unit I have already discussed two chapters. One is transient current, another one is alternating current. After discussing the two chapters in the last fourth unit, I have taken up a new chapter which is called network theorems. So I have told you this network theorem is absolutely new for the pre-university students, just past pre-university students. So I have discussed some of the basic definitions in my last video. So basic things like what is electrical network and what are the junctions and the nodes and what is a measured loop and Ohm's law and how to apply the Kirchhoff voltage law for a loop. After that I discussed two important theorems which I discussed in two immediate last videos, and that was the Thevenin's theorem and the superposition theorem. I have discussed two important theorems in my last videos. The Thevenin's theorem, other one is the superposition theorem. Today I am going to discuss another important theorem in the network, that is the Norton's theorem. Right. Let us get into the new theorem today, the Norton's theorem. So this states that any two-terminal linear bilateral network can be replaced by an equivalent current source in parallel with resistance. The current being equal to the short circuit current through the load terminal and the resistance being equal to the resistance across the open circuit load terminal. I'll explain you one by one sentence. Okay. So any two-terminal linear bilateral network. So I have taken a linear bilateral network which I am calling it as a complicated network. The left hand side diagram. The diagram in the left hand side is the two-terminal linear bilateral network. Two terminal in the sense A and B are the two terminals which I have connected load resistance to it. Now this network, this linear bilateral network can be replaced by an equivalent network. I can replace this complex linear bilateral network into a simple network. So simple in the sense a current source, IN is the current source, in parallel with the resistance. So I have to have a current source in parallel with the resistance which is Rn. Okay. But what must be the current of that current source? The current source being equal to the short circuit current through the load terminal. Look at my complicated network. A and B are the load terminal. So you remove the load and short circuit it and look at the current across the short circuit terminals A and B. Okay. So that current has to be equal to your IN. So the current being equal to, current source being equal to the short circuit current across this load terminals A and B. And the resistance which I am calling it as Rn, the resistance being equal to the resistance across this open circuit load terminal. So again it's the same load terminal A and B. Look at the resistance at this terminal. Look at the effective resistance at this terminal. This resistance, effective resistance, must be equal to the resistance which I have taken in a Norton's network. It means a simplified network. Okay. Right. So it is a kind of correlation. It is almost similar to the Thevenin's theorem, but where in the Thevenin's theorem I am saying that this complicated network is equal to this simple network with one voltage source in series with a resistance, and what must be the value of voltage source, and that is VTH, it is open circuit voltage, And what must be the RTH? Again, this is the effective resistance across these two load terminal. Exactly in a similar way, I am telling the Norton's theorem that this complicated network can be equivalent to this simple network, but here it is a current source. But this time it is a current source, and this current source being equal to the short circuit current across this load terminal, and in parallel with a resistance, and this resistance being equal to the effective resistance across this load terminal. So overall, the theme is, I can say that a complicated network, a linear bilateral network, can be equivalent to this simple network. So left hand side is the complicated network, right hand side is the simple network. Overall, Norton's theorem says that this complicated network is equivalent to this simple network, provided the current source must be equal to the short circuit current across the terminal, and the resistance which I am connected in parallel must be equal to the effective resistance across these two terminals A and B. Okay, so you have to properly define the value of IN and RN, then only this statement is completed. Okay, right. So this is the statement of the Norton's theorem. Overall, a complicated network can be equivalent to this simple network. Now let us find out what is the value of IN and RN. I have just told you that IN is the open circuit, or means the short circuit current across these terminals A and B. Now let us remove RL and short circuit it and look for the current which is flowing through that. Okay, and I have told you resistance is again the effective resistance between the terminals A and B. Go and see what will be the effective resistance. At A and B, you look at the A and B, okay, so it is same for A and B positions. This R2 looks like series and R1, R3 will looks like parallel. So clearly you need to judge which resistors are in parallel and which resistors are in series. Okay, so you know series connection and parallel connection in the PUC itself. End-to-end connection is series. If one resistor is connected to the end of other resistor, then you say these two resistors are in series. Parallel in the sense, if the two resistors are connected between the two common terminals, then you can say the two resistors are in parallel. You know the value of effective resistance in both the case. Right, for me, at the point A and B, these two looks parallel, R1, R3 looks parallel, and R2 will be in a series. Now if I apply this this formula, then I'll get the effective resistance as R2 plus R1, R3 by R1 plus R3, because R1, R3 are in parallel. Effective resistance would be R1, R3 by R1 plus R3. R2 is in series, so it is simply plus R2. So I got the value of the Norton's resistance, the resistance which has to be connected in parallel with the current source in a simple network. Alright, after finding this effective resistance, means the Norton resistance, let us find out the Norton's current. Okay, so Norton's current, I have told you that this is the short circuit current across the terminal, load terminal A and B. Now the A and B terminal is shorted. I am looking at the current which is flowing through the load terminal, which I am calling it as IN. Now IN is the same current which flows through R2. If it is sufficient, if you find current which is flowing through R2. How do I find the current flowing through R2? It is a branch. So R2 is a one branch and R3 is another branch. So it looks like R3 and R2 are the two branches. Now you need to go for the branch current formula. Okay, right. To go for branch current formula, you need to know the value of main current. So how do I find the main current? I have been calculated the main current so many times. The same formula I am using here. Okay, the main current is the total EMF to the total resistance. So total EMF will be only the EMF of the battery, and total resistance would be the effective resistance of all this. Now for the current, the effective resistance will be the current which is coming from the battery will go through R1. Okay, so after going through R1, it divides at R2 and R3, so which are in parallel now for the current. Now it is very clear that the R2 and R3 are in parallel, because current is dividing exactly at R2 and R3. Where it divides means these two circuit elements are in parallel. R2 and R3 are in parallel, but current is the same current will flows through R1 and divides at R2, R3. So therefore R2, R3 are in parallel, R1 is in series. So I am calculating the main current. I am calculating the current which is drawn from the battery. Let us call it as a total current. It is total voltage by total resistance. Total voltage is E and total resistance is R1 series, R2, R3 parallel. So it is R1 plus R2, R3 divided by R2 plus R3. So I got the value of Norton resistance, and I got the value of still I have not got the value of Norton resistance, Norton current. So still to find out the Norton's current, you need to apply the branch current formula. Okay, so branch current is the main current into resistance in the another branch divided by sum of the two resistance. Okay, so don't look at this E by T. E by T is wrong. This E by T which I have written is wrong. So it is supposed to be the main current into resistance in the another branch by sum of the two resistance. Main current, go back and look at the main current, E by R1 plus R2, R3 by R2 plus R3. This is substitute for main current. And resistance in the another branch is R3 divided by sum of the two resistance is R2 plus R3. Students, you don't look at this E by RT formula. E by RT is wrong. I have written substituted directly here. So main current, resistance in the another branch by sum of the two resistance. Main current is E divided by R1 plus R2 R3 by R2 plus R3 into resistance another branch is R3 divided by sum of the two resistance is R3 plus R2. Okay, let us simplify this. Take the LCM R2 plus R3. Okay, so if I take LCM R2 plus R3, that will cancel with another R2 plus R3 that side. Okay, I left with R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R3 R2, and that is the value of IN I am getting. Okay, so that is from the branch current formula. So how did I found this Norton's current? No, Norton's current is the branch current, is the current which is flowing through the branch R2. So for that I calculated the main current. So after finding the main current, I have used the formula of branch current, which is the main current into resistance in another branch is R3 by sum of the two resistances. Okay, right. So after finding the values of the Norton's resistance and the Norton's currents, let us look into the proof of this theorem. Okay, now I have a Norton's equivalent network. I have told you the one current source in parallel with the resistance is enough to make it equivalent to this complicated network. Right, now I have connected a load resistance. I look for the current which is flowing through the load resistance. Alright, now load resistance current is again a branch current. Look back the diagram here. Two branches are there. One is RN branch, another one is RL branch. Now I am looking for the current flowing through this RL branch. Okay, so RN is the another branch. So if I use a branch current formula, main current which is IN into resistance in the another branch is RN divided by sum of the two resistances is RN plus RL. Okay, now I have to substitute the value of IN and RN which I have calculated. Okay, right. So it becomes a very big equation now. Substitute for IN, it is ER3 by R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R3 R2. Now substitute for RN. RN is R2 plus R1 R3 by R1 plus R3. Again in the denominator substitute for RN, which is R2 plus R1 R3 by R1 plus R3 plus RN. Now I will do a little bit simplification in the numerator. I will take LCM of R1 plus R3. Okay, so in the numerator I will get R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R3 R2, that cancel with this. Okay, right. Now I will get in the numerator as ER3 by R1 plus R3 divided by, I am writing the denominator same, take the LCM in the denominator R1 plus R3, that is multiplied by R2 plus RL. Okay, so finally in the denominator I have R1 R3 and this R2 plus RL is multiplied by the LCM R1 plus R3, so it is R2 plus RL into R1 plus R3. The LCM which I have taken R1 plus R3, which will cancel with the R1 plus R3 in the numerator. Okay, so I left with a very simple equation. IL is equal to ER3 by R1 R3 divided by R2 plus RL into R1 plus R3. Let us call it as equation 1. So half of the proof is done. I have calculated the current which is flowing through the load resistance by considering a simple network, by considering a Norton's network. Okay, so in the Norton's network I have calculated the load current by applying a simple branch current formula. In the branch current formula I have substituted the value of IN and RN. IN is, I just established the equation for IN and RN. Those two established IN and RN equation I am substituting in the load current branch current formula. Okay, so there I did a little bit simplification by taking the LCM. I got the equation 1. So I got the equation 1, fine. After getting the equation 1, let us do a second step in this proof. In the second step I have taken a complicated equation. So complicated circuit, I have all the three circuit elements like R1, RT, R2 and this R3 which is connected with the load resistance. Now my focus is to calculate again the current which is flowing through the load resistance and look at the current which I have calculated in the first step in the Norton's network. If these two matches with each other, it is enough that it has proved. The Norton's theorem has proved. Okay. Now I need to establish an equation for the current which is flowing through this load resistance in this complicated network. Right. Alright, now the current through this load resistance is I2. I2 is the current which is flowing through this load resistance. Now I need to establish an equation for I2. You know these things, you know these kind of complicated network, you know how to solve an equation. I have been telling you from the Thevenin's theorem and the superposition theorem that it is enough to apply a Kirchhoff voltage law for the loop 1 and as well as for the loop 2, establish the two equations with the two variables. You can easily solve two variable two equations with the help of the Cramer's rule. Okay, the same method we follow here also while solving this kind of complicated network. And let me establish an equation for the current I2 which is flowing through the load resistance RL. Right, now I will apply the Kirchhoff voltage law for the loop 1. Okay, you know which is loop 1 is. The left hand side closed loop is the loop 1. Now I am applying the Kirchhoff voltage law for the loop 1. Loop 1 is the EMF and the resistance Rn and the resistance R3 will makes the loop 1. Now you know the Kirchhoff voltage law. It is simply a sum of the product of current and resistance is equal to EMF of the battery. But don't forget taking the sign convention. If your consideration and the current direction is same, you have to write positive. If your consideration and the current direction are in the reverse direction, you have to write minus. One more thing, if you are going from positive of the battery to the negative of the battery, you have to write plus in the right hand side. If you are going from negative to positive of the battery, you have to write minus in the right hand side. So you have to be very careful with the sign convention. Right. So for this first loop, I am going in a clockwise direction. I am going clockwise. Luckily, the current will also moving in a clockwise direction in the loop 1. Right, I will come to the first resistance Rn. Look at the current through Rn. It is IN. Okay. And the formula says that it is IN into Rn. Okay. Now, I will come to the resistor R3. What is the current through R3? I have clearly mentioned it, but what actually the current through R3 is. So suppose if IN is the current coming here, okay, I2 is the current going through this resistor R2, and what will be the current will flow through this R3, okay. If I1 is coming, I2 is going away, then what is the left out current which is going down? Okay, it is the I1 minus I2 is the left out current which is going down through this R3. Okay, so I1 is the main current which is coming over here, and a partially will go to the R2 which is I2. The remaining current I1 minus I2 is the remaining current which flows down through this R3, which is I1 minus I2. That is I1 minus I2. You please correct it. Now current through R3 is I1 minus I2 into that R3 is equal to EMF of the battery, because I am going from positive to negative, so EMF of the battery is plus E. Fine. Now what is the next step will be the rearrangement of the variables. So take I1 to one side and I2 to other side. Okay, so it will be R1 plus R3 into I1 minus R2 into I2 is equal to E. This makes an equation number 2. Okay, right. Equation 1 I already written, so let us call it as equation number 2. Right. Now the next step will be applying the Kirchhoff voltage law for the loop 2. Loop 2 is the components R3, R2 and RL. Okay. Now here I will go again clockwise direction. I will go in the clockwise direction. Across R3 I am going up and the current is coming down. Look at R3. Look at R3. Current is coming down. I am going up. So you can consider any direction for that matter. I am considering the clockwise direction. I am moving clockwise. So current is coming down. You have to write minus. So it is minus I1 minus I2 into R3. Okay. Then I got this R2. R2 current is in my direction. I will go to RL. Current is in my direction. So both are plus. R2 and RL are plus. So it's the same current I2. So it is I2 into R2 plus RL. So minus R3 into I1 minus I2 plus R2 plus RL into I2 is equal to 0, because there is no EMF in the second loop. There is no voltage source in the second loop. Therefore, in the right hand side will be 0. Right, now let us separate these variables, I1 one side and the I2 in the other side. That is equal to 0. Let us call it as equation number 3. Okay. So I have established equation 2 and equation 3 by applying the Kirchhoff voltage law for the loop 1 and as well as for the loop 2. Right, after getting two equations, there are two variables I1 and I2. You can easily solve these two equations and get the value of variables. So which one you want? I want only the current through load resistance. What is the current through load resistance? I2 is the current through load resistance. So if it is enough, if you calculate the I2, I don't want I1. I don't want I1 in this case. I just want I2. So it is enough if you calculate the value of current through load resistance. It is enough if you calculate I2. Okay. Now I am applying the Cramer's rule and I am going to find the equation for I2. So Cramer's rule, it again says that there are two matrices, one in the numerator, another in the denominator. In the numerator matrix, first you have to write the values of coefficients of I1. If you want I2, you have to write the coefficient of I1 in the numerator. So look back to the equation. Go back to the equation number 2. Here I1 coefficient is R1 plus R3. So here the I1 coefficient is minus R3. So it will be R1 plus R3 minus R3 in the numerator. In the numerator matrix, I am writing the coefficients of I1. Next, constants. I have to write the constant in the next column. Constants are E and 0. Okay. Coefficients of I1 and the constants in the numerator. Next, in the denominator, I have to write the coefficient of I1 and the coefficient of I2. This will not change. The matrix in the numerator will not change whether you are finding I1 or you are finding I2. So only the matrix in the numerator will change whether you are finding I1 or I2. That is the only thing will change. Right, now it is to simplify these matrix. I know it's a diagonal multiplication. R1 plus R3 minus 0 will be 0. And minus of ER3, minus of minus plus ER3. So numerator is simply ER3. And denominator, it is R1 plus R3 multiplied by R2 plus R3 plus RL. Okay, minus and there is one more minus plus becomes again minus R3 square. Now what I'll do is I'll just multiply this R3 which is in the second term with R1 plus R3 and I'll write it outside. The same trick which I did in some last derivation. Right. So R1 plus R3 will remain same. Okay. So R3 I am multiplying this R1. So it is R1 R3 writing it out. And again I am multiplying R3 with another R3. R3 square I am writing it out. So plus R3 minus R3 will cancel. I will left with in fact it is plus R1 R3, not the minus R1 R3. It is the plus R1 R3. Please correct it. Now the equation for I2 will be ER3 divided by R1 R3 into R2 plus RL plus R1 R3. So it is plus R1 R3. Don't you please correct it. You please correct the signature. It is plus R1 R3. So ER3 R1 plus R3 into R2 plus RL plus R1 R3. I have established an equation 4. Means the equation for the current which is flowing through the load resistance in a complicated network. And I have also established the equation for the current through the load resistance in the Norton's network. Let us see what will be the two equations. So look at the equation 1 which I have established. It is ER3 R1 R3 plus R2 plus RL into R1 plus R3. Look at this equation. It has to be plus in the denominator. You please correct it. I am getting exactly the same equation. The current flowing in a Norton's network is exactly same as the current flowing in a complicated network. So it is as good as saying that this complicated network is equivalent to this Norton's simple network. So any linear bilateral network can be replaced by this simple network with only one current source in parallel with the resistance, but that current being equal to the short circuit current across the terminals and the resistance being equal to the effective resistance between the same terminals. Okay, this equation 1 and the equation 4 will clearly establish this Norton's theorem. Okay, thank you very much.